Welcome and accounts for White Rose Crafts. Today we'll be creating with the Little Christmas Tree card kit. This kit has so much in it. I have the unboxing video and I'll link that below. This is a bonus card. I just wanted to play with the kit just to get an idea of what I wanted to do. This is going to be a two-part series and let's jump into it. This is the first of 5 cards that we'll be creating today. Then the other cards I'll host in another video. I went ahead and pre-die cut anything I needed to die cut, and stamped anything I needed to stamp, and pre-cut all my pieces. This is card 1. We have our sentiment, which is from the sticker kit, and this beautiful paper is from Petallics and it's cold. And then we have some of the pattern paper. I brought in some cardstock from my stash and a 110-pound card. So let's get started. Before we do, let me show you, I cut these 2 little green sprigs from my stash. So we're going to create this card. It's going to be a landscape card. I'm going to start by adhering our light blue cardstock to our card base. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive here. Now the components, most of the components from this card come from the Decoupage take apart sheet that's in the kit. And our sentiment comes from the sticker set from the kit. And that little mulberry, poinsettia is also from the kit. If anything, the only thing that I'm bringing in that's not from the kit is my cardstock, my card base, and those little green sprigs that I use from dye from my stash. Alright, now we're going to adhere this blue, darker blue cardstock onto our card base here, and this is going to be a layering piece for our paper. So I'm going to bring in our beautiful paper here. This is from the kit. This paper is from Craft Creations, and it's called Assorted Christmas Papers. And so this is going to be a liner. Here's the other strip. I'm going to use that to basically mat the little strip, that one that I have in my hand here. And that's from the Decoupage pop apart that comes in the kit. I'm going to use that. I'm going to line that onto, well, if I can get it straight, I'm going to adhere that to that blue, dark blue cardstock, and I'll be placing that above our card pattern paper here. I'm going to get that down there. Once that's adhered, we're going to move on to our circles here. I cut a darker blue circle, and wait, before I get started, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to put this here. This is our I die cut this using the die that comes in the kit. It's a tag, and I'm just going to use the bottom half of it. I'm going to put adhesive on it and tuck it just under that paper right there, that little strip we put down, and that's going to be a little spot for our sentiment to go. Once I get this glued back down, I will put our sentiment on here, which I've mounted onto the same dark blue cardstock, and fussy cut around it, and just put a little foam adhesive on the back for quickly. Now to the circle. So I have a dark blue circle here. I'm using some foam tape to adhere it to our card, and here's some gold from the specialty paper from the kit. And then I'm going to bring in these 2 little white flowers. They're the same flowers that you see on the strip that I adhere to the card base. The little sprigs that I die cut from dye I have in my stash. And this beautiful mulberry poinsettia. It has these little strings. If you wanted to use it to tie onto a tag, you can. But I'm just going to twirl them in the back, and then I'm going to use some pop dots, some mini pop dots to adhere this, mini glue dots, I'm sorry, to adhere this to our card. I'm going to do my best to center this. And then I'll place the other 2 flowers on either side of this poinsettia. And those I have mounted on little foam adhesive dots. Just creating a little cluster on our gold circle. I need to make an adjustment here, and I realized I never put adhesive on those little sprigs. I better put some on there so it doesn't come off. Now I have some gems. These rhinestones come in the kit, and they're a variety of red, green, and blue, which coordinate beautifully with all the colors of the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 here to the sentiment above the cluster we have here. Just going to put a nice few of them around our card just to make it look really pretty. Okay, so there's one last one right about there. Oh, actually two. There we go. Alright, so here is finished our card 1. Like I said, everything is from the kit with the exception of the cardstock and those little sprigs. Moving on to card 2. For card 2, we're going to have our card base, some layering cardstock in a deep red, the same pattern paper from before, some of the gold metallic specialty paper, and our sentiment comes from the sticker set, and it says my favorite time of the year, but I just cut off the mine and left it favorite time of the year. This ornament die is from is carried in the White Rose Crafts shop. I forgot who it's by, but I will link it below. And I'm just backing the little topper, I guess you call it, the ornament holder to the, I'm adhering some of that dark red paper to the back of that so that it shows nicely through. Alright, so I'm going to adhere our card, dark red card stock to our card base, leaving just a smidgen all the way around, like 1/8 of an inch or less than, all the way around here as soon as I get this lined up. Then I'm going to adhere our pattern paper onto our gold specialty cardstock. And normally I would cut out the back of this, but this paper isn't very thick, the pattern paper, and I just didn't want any little gaps on there. Alright, so I'm going to adhere this right here all the way to the left of our card. And then I'm going to place the ornament on top of that. Alright, so here's our ornament. It's going to go about there, and there's a little topper. Now I want to create a little string so it doesn't look like our ornament's just floating there. So I'm going to bring in from my stash some glittered washi tape, and then I'm going to just measure about how much I need, trim off the excess, and then to cut a thinner piece, because this is pretty thick cardstock, I'm just going to place it on the back of that. That's the backing for the pop dots, for the glue dots, and I'm just going to go ahead and use that to hold the washi tape so I can cut it and it won't wiggle all around. I'm going to place out to the back of that little topper, and I'm going to get a piece of foam adhesive right here, and I'll be placing that on the back so that it's the same height as our ornament. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the top layer of the ornament, which is cut out of the same dark red cardstock. I'm going to layer it onto the gold cardstock, which already has some foam adhesive on the back. Going to get that on there. Now I'm going to remove the backing, and I'll adhere that to that little rectangle panel. Same thing with our topper. Get that nestled in there, and then I should have left a little gap here, or at least adhered my ornament first before adhering that little panel, but it's okay. I was able to manage to stick the little piece of washi underneath. Here's our sentiment. So I have it foam mounted already, and I have that on a strip of the same gold specialty paper. Since I kind of handled this sticker quite a bit, it wasn't as sticky, and it wasn't sticking to our paper. So I went ahead and added a little extra adhesive just to be on the safe side. I'm going to take off the backing from the foam adhesive and place this on our card. To finish it off, I'm going to bring in some of the gems. I'm going to bring in some of the tiny green ones, and I'm going to put them on those little star shapes that are on the ornament and the center of them. And I think this card has plenty of shimmer and shine between the glitter cardstock, the glitter washi tape, the gold beautiful shimmer cardstock, and now those little gems. You have plenty of shine and shimmer. So on to our next card. For this card, we're going to use the decoupage pieces. I'm going to use some. I didn't use all of them, but this is how you use this. You cut out the you pop out the panel, and then the layering pieces. So you have your main base, this would be 1, the next one would be 2, and you just added foam adhesive to the back of it and layer it on. Just match it up and layer it on. So you have some dimension. You could leave your card here and it'd be great. You can put on another layer like I'm going to do here, and this will emphasize it just a bit more. As you can see, more dimension. And again, you could leave your card here if you feel more comfortable, but I'm going to go for the full bit here. I'm going to add a little more, one more layer, if I can center it. There we go. Now I have a nice thick dimension. I'm going to layer this onto this light blue cardstock that's from my stash. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to that. And for this card, I do not have a sentiment. I just felt that I didn't want to take away from the beautiful poinsettias bouquet that we have here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere our card panel to our card base. And this is the full size of the card, which is an A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5. All these cards are 4 1/4 by 5.5. Alright, so I'm going to, once I add that here, I'm just going to add a few gems here for finishing touch. I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm just going to add a few really quickly here. I'm pulling in mostly the blues and a few of the reds, keeping to the color tone that we have already. And that's it. I'm calling this one done. Like I said, you can add your sentiment across on the top and the bottom, but I chose not to. On to card number 4. Again, we are using the stickers, one of the stickers from the kit, the red star, this red swirl with yellow stars paper. And I went ahead and stamped off mini tree and the 2 gifts from the stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and pull in my Copic colors to color this. Now, and White Rose Crafts does not carry Copics, but they do carry other markers. I will be sure to link those below, and also the Copic colors I did use, so you can find something close to it. So I'm going to start with 3 shades of green here for our Christmas tree. I'll start off with the darkest. I'm putting it on the top and the bottom. Then I'll go into our mid-tone here, and then I'll finish it off with our last color here, and to blend it all in. You're just creating a little highlight in the middle of our tree. I will have all these, like I said, listed below. So now we're going to have 2 shades of yellow to this little present here. And I'm going to go ahead and finish that. And the next one will be 2 shades of red. I'm going to do a little bit darker red on the bottom here, and then a little bit lighter red. And I do go out of, see, one of my flickers goes out of my stamped area, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use an embellishment there. Okay, so now we have our little card panel done. And with our Copic markers, I'm going to fill in the last little bit here, which is the base to our tree. Now this tree has like little polka dots on it, which would be like your ornaments. But it comes, when you stamp it with the Copic friendly Copic friendly ink, it turns black. So I want to change that. So I'm going to bring in my gold glitter pen and my red glitter Jelly Roll pen. These are Sakura Jelly Roll pens. And I'm just going to go ahead and add those to over the black little dots. Just going to fill them in just quick and easy. This way also it customizes your image a bit more. So I'm not sure if my camera's picking that up, but you'll see it in the finishing product. So now we're going to get all these markers out of our way, and we can start building our card. We're going to adhere this little panel onto our green cardstock, making sure it's centered on there. Okay, and then we're going to adhere our pattern paper onto our card base here. And this is the same size as our card base. Get that on there, and then we're going to go ahead and add our little panel here, and I'm going to use some foam adhesive to give it some dimension. So I'm just sorry, I'm a bit off screen here. I'm just cutting down some foam adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and add that there. I realize I didn't get enough, so I'm going to get a few more little pieces here. and then I'll peel off the backing and adhere that to our card. I'm going to go a little bit to the left here. Then I'll put our sentiment, which already has its foam tape on there, over to the right. I'm trying to figure out where I want it. I start out there and then I end up moving it once a bit later. So now I'm just going to go ahead and bring in some of our gems that come with the kit. And I'm just going to go ahead and add them. Like I said, I'm going to place one over that little blip I did, came out of the stamped image. And then I'm going to add another one above it. And then I'll add some towards the top by the sentiment. I like that these gems come in 3 sizes. They come in a large, a medium, and a tiny, or a small. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in just one more right up there. Okay, so there you have it. Card number 4 is complete. See if you can pick that up a little bit. Now on to card number 5. So for card number 5, I went ahead and stamped and colored our tree ahead of time. This is a build a tree design that this stamp set has. It's really fun. It gives you like this cool little wonky tree. I colored that and the trunk and the little bucket. Alright, our tree stand. I'm going to have the same paper with the red swirl with the stars. We're going to adhere that to our card base. And we also have this sticker. This is a peel off, and it's the cool Yule, it says. Have a cool Yule. And I thought that would be fun to put with this funky little tree. So we're going to do that there. Here's our tree. Set that to the side, and we're going to work on our sentiment. So this is a peel off. It comes off and is red with a gold lining all around each of the letters. And this is we have a cool Yule, and I'm just going to try my best to get this as even and as straight as possible onto this little scrap of green cardstock. It's the little bit scraps that I've been using with my other cards, that we've been using with the other cards. So here we're getting the Yule down, make a few adjustments, and I realized the have is a little bit off, so I'm going to readjust that. And place that on there. And I will adhere this little strip to the bottom of our card once I get this to line up. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this and cut off any extra that may be hanging on. So I get it on here, and then I realize, oop, too high. I need to go a little further down, which I do. And now I'm going to go ahead and add a little extra glue on the end there to make sure it stays on, and trim off any of the excess. Once that's all trimmed, we can then start putting our tree onto our card. And I got it crooked, so I had to straighten it out. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little tree stand here in the center, just above the word cool. But before we do that, I'm going to adhere the tree stand and the tree trunk together, because those will be glued on flat onto the card. I want to make sure I have it in the right spot. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere those to the card. And I know it's kind of hard to see the red base on the red, but up close in person you can see it. So here we go. We're going to place that there. We're going to add some foam adhesive to the back of our tree before we adhere it to our card base. Just going to do a couple pieces here and there, and a little piece towards the top for our little trunk. Not our trunk, to the tip of our tree. Okay, I'm a little upside down today. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the backing here, and my camera cut off. So all you get to see is me adhering the tree and some gems on either side. So here are our first of our 10 cards. These are our first 5. And you can see there's a good variety of cards here. You have from really funky cool with the cool Yule to more classic with the poinsettia and the globe, the ornament, and the little bouquet here with the mulberry poinsettia. So these are so much fun to create. the card kit is so packed. I'm going to create another 5 here in a few minutes, and I still have plenty to make more.